People, is your countdown. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat. How'd you like that? To be honest with you, I have no idea what happened to my countdown. And it's got to be me because I've done the last 2 shows anyway. I think maybe 3. I don't know. I've done the last couple of shows. So if there's something missing in the in that section, then it's on this guy. So I'm saying there's a pretty good chance I messed that up, which is par for the course. How is everyone doing this morning? So last night was the 4th of July here in the United States of America. By the way, I am broadcasting live from the Southwest offices of the Lifeboat. And it is hot. Actually, it's not. Right now, it's beautiful. This time of day is absolutely remarkable in this city. It's probably 50 or 60 degrees out right now. And the sunrises and the sunsets in Arizona are second to none. Truthfully, they're second to none, I'm telling you. Annette, good morning. So let me get my head in this. I'm a little foggy. Okay, so this is an interesting subject I'm going to start talking about. The name of the show is almost a joke, but however, the write it down part is not. One of the things that took a back seat when I moved, I just made the big move from Nevada down here to AZ, and one of the parts of the big move that I didn't talk much about. Good morning, Balake. One of the things that I didn't mention was that my journaling took a back seat. Right, my journaling took a backseat to everything. The move and unloading boxes and doing all of the things that were necessary to move the lifeboat and the family and a couple of cars and all of the things that I had to get across country. There's 106 or 108 massive boxes, huge cardboard boxes that are packed, and there's no excuse at all. It really isn't, because I run the lifeboat, right? I'm the captain of the lifeboat. I talk an awful lot about journaling, but for almost 5 days, I didn't do any of it, and it really screwed me up. I'm not kidding you, people. It really screwed me up. I started to go and read through my stuff. Started to read through, and I also had a rough couple of days. It's just moving's hard, and then on top of the move, I've got the lifeboat, and I've got all of the things that go along with that. Hold on one second. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. So, I start writing again, and it makes me go back and look at the things that I was writing before the move. And this is kind of it's an exercise. If you've not done a lot of journaling, if the journaling thing is new to you, most of the effect that I get from journaling, the part that really makes the whole process worthwhile to me, is not the writing. It's the going back and revisiting the stuff that you wrote, because you have epiphanies. I've said many times on the lifeboat that you have a group of 5 people, right? And the 5 people are the people you're going to call if you feel like you're about to go to the liquor store, or you feel like you're about to call the dope man, you're about to do something stupid. You've progressed through all of the levels of screw up, and now you're at the real one where rubber meets road, and you grab some dope or you grab some alcohol or whatever the case may be. However, with the 5 being hugely and important, the 6th, or maybe the 1st, but the extra added counselor to that is the journal, is the slip of paper. It's the thing that you type into. It is the thing that you talk into. Kathy! Good morning, Kathy. I hope you are doing well. I was praying for Kathy earlier. She's got this, she's going to be, I am waiting to board, but wanted to say hi. So while waiting to board an aircraft, she boarded the boat instead. We're glad that you're here, Kathy. This is going to be a hell of a trip for you. Nothing but faith that this is going to be one hell of a trip. So, since moving, I have not felt that feeling of contentment that I had worked, staying in the moment, that a girl. I had worked fairly hard for a long period of time to reach this level of sort of Zen Tommy. I got to a point where I was feeling as good as I could feel. And that's the most that we can hope for. Things are going to come up throughout life that suck. There are people who have said that it's what we do in between the massive crises and meltdowns that make life worth living. Because everybody on this planet is going to lose people. Everybody on this planet is going to have financial setbacks. Everybody on this planet is going to have disappointments in those that they love. People are going to do things that hurt them. Their kids are going to disappoint them. All of these things are the reality of life, and they're huge and they're massive and they suck, and they make you fight for your sobriety. If you're a religious person, they make you call on your God. They're very, very intense times. All of the stuff that happens around that is life. And I think I understand the sentiment on that. I really do. But I had reached a level of Zen since getting out of prison, and I reached that while the federal government was still sort of breathing down my neck and watching my every move, and calling you whenever they want and saying, "Come on down and piss in a cup for me. we need to do a drug screen, or we need to do this, or we need to do that." The other one that I used to really love was they have this thing that all probationers and inmates and people in the federal system have to fill out. It's a questionnaire, and it is the dumbest thing in the world. And there's no instructions to this questionnaire at all. So you get it, and it says, it's asking you all of these questions, and you answer them on a scale of 1 to 4. 4 being, I agree with this in a big way. 1 being, I don't agree with this at all. Maybe it's 5. It is 5. But it's 1 through 5. How much do you agree with this? How much do you not agree with this? Or are you baseline? Don't agree or disagree. But the instructions don't tell you, do you want me to answer this how I was when I was robbing banks? Or do you want me to answer this how I am today? Like, there's no, and that may sound silly, but if you read the questions, you'd understand what I'm talking about. It's very difficult to extrapolate from the test itself whether or not they want to know what your state of mind was when you were in the life and you were doing dope every day and all of that, or what's your state of mind today. And it was confusing as crap, and they want you to fill one out about every 15 minutes. V, good to see you. And they want you to fill one of these things out. I mean, honestly, I bet you they had me do it 2 or 3 times a year. And it's always a friggin' emergency, which leads me to believe that they use that data for something to probably get more money, because that's it's the way they act. When you get this thing, they send it to you with a return envelope, if you're lucky enough to get it mailed to you. And most often you don't seem to get it mailed to you. But then they will call you and say, you didn't mail it back. And you say, I didn't get it, Well, we need you here in the next 25 minutes. And it was just having that loom over you sucked. It just always, there was always something. You know, I'm going to do a watch show and I've got to go fill out the paperwork and get permission to, to cross state lines or it was, but I reached a level of Zen with all of that crap hanging over my head. I reached a point of contentment in what I do. And I mean everything that I do, the watches, the talking to people on the boat, the coming here and doing the shows, everything, every part of what I was doing, I was just very, very content with. And then the move happened and I got down here and man, I love it. I love the place that I'm at. It's very, very different than Reno. You could have put Reno, especially where I live, they jam houses. The houses were nice, but they're right next to each other. I mean, they're literally like laid on top of one another. And, here, if you stand, in front and you look around, you really don't see houses because of how they build it. All of the houses are built dead center in the middle of whatever amount of land that you have. And in this part of the city, most people have, a good chunk of land. It's usually in the ballpark of an acre and some even more. But the point is, it's so different than where I live and where I used to live. And I like it here. I prefer everything about it. I prefer the weather. So far, everything about it I love. But I didn't have that Zen. I didn't have that feeling of contentment that I had. And that's bizarre because I get the email that says you're free. So this thing that I just was talking about, right? That's constantly looking over your shoulder and constantly like staring down what you do. That's gone. If ever there's been a point where I should be wicked content, if ever there's been a stage of my life where I should be just in that Zen feeling of, holy crap, the world's perfect, it should be right now. Yeah, Goddess Divine says, agreed, Tommy, when houses are on top of one another, people get cranky. I believe that. And I understand that here, the reason that they set it up the way they do is because of all of the wildlife. They don't want the houses to interfere. Heather Joy, good to see you. They don't want the houses to interfere with the wildlife so even if you've got a crap ton of land, you're still going to put your house in the middle of it. They always want enough room for javelinas and large lizards and rattlesnakes to do their thing, apparently. Lemmy, good to see you. And the rattlesnake that I talked about on the lifeboat the other day, hey, he was back last night. He lives right on the other side of my gate. So when you go out the back door toward the pool, on the far wall, the far fence, the fence line, there's a little door on it, so you can go over and throw the latch. That door it's like, even though it's just a swinging open door in a fence, it is on the ground. There is not. They designed those doors so that a snake ain't getting under it, right? Like they're designed that way, and they're not just bars, right? They mesh them out at the bottom of everything. Like they realize that snakes are an issue, but yeah, go Heather. I love everything about my new place except for the mosquitoes. Oh, mosquitoes suck. I think here in Arizona, it's too hot for mosquitoes. I think they fall out of the sky and just drop to the pavement, or they cooked years ago because I haven't seen any of them. Oh, I hate to hear that cats get shot. It's kind of a bummer for me. So anyway, Lemmy says, since I feel drunk, I'm at day 0 again. Well, you know what? It happens, Lemmy. Since I still feel drunk. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you may have stumbled, brother. Not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. And if that is the case, Lemmy, the question becomes right now, is this going to be a good relapse, a bad relapse, or a great relapse. When we stumble, and all of us have, and you stumbled all the way to the physical part of relapse. I have not done that in 8 years. I, however, have relapsed my ass off in the last 8 years. I've had a ton of different parts of the relapse process. In fact, I lived in it for parts of my time out here. It's not the end of the world. Where it becomes a problem is if you continue to go down the road, if you continue to get loaded, then that's a problem. If you learn from this, and if you learn from it enough to never use again, that's the great, right? That's the goal of every relapse. And obviously it can only happen once, right? Because once you do quit, then you quit. It's not the end of the world to relapse. It's really bad, however, if you go back into full lifestyle, right? So the question becomes, when anybody stumbles, what made it happen? And you don't have to hash that out here with us. That's your business. But you need to. I feel like garbage on a hot roof. Well, I understand that too, brother. I really do. Almost all alcoholics relapse. Statistically, it's like 90%. Ian, I believe that is pretty damn close. I've read 88, I think, is the lowest statistic that I ever read on. But you know what? I don't believe any of them. The problem is that when we're in the life, we very often are dishonest. It doesn't seem to happen very often on the lifeboat. A lot of people, it does happen, but we've been very. I think we've done very well with the honesty level, especially considering that we do this virtually. So I appreciate your honesty. I've done a lot of shows on relapse. In fact, I've probably done more shows on relapse than I've done on anything, right? It's the subject matter that we talk about the most. And we talk about how there's 3 different stages of relapse. And the last stage of relapse is what happened to you. It's why you feel like dog crap on a hot tin roof. It's the actual physically taking of the substance, right? Or the breaking of the sobriety and the redoing of the habit, whatever you want to call it, because we can all be addicted to different things. Get away from that. Hey. So if you got to the physical part of relapse, if you got to the part where you're getting loaded, well, then there were 2 other parts along the way. Squirrel, get away from that. I swear to you, cat. Come here. Yes, don't do that. Sorry. Just messing with the blinds. I can't have it. The blinds are in really good shape. I just don't want anything to happen to them. So the question becomes, how did we get to phase 3? And this isn't just for you, Lemmy, it's for anybody. How did we get to phase 3 of the relapse, right? And how do you figure that out? Well, the write it down process is exactly what I was talking about at this show. It's putting pen to paper. 4th of July could be a trigger. It absolutely can. And here's the thing. There are relapses, right? The end of sobriety and the actual physical relapse are always caused by a trigger of some sort. However, in my humble opinion, if you're rock solid and everything is groovy and you have not hit phase 1 of relapse, or you have not hit phase 2 of relapse, right? So you're not in mental and you're not in emotional relapse. You're sailing along, everything is groovy, and you get triggered to beat hell. You don't use that process. You go to the bag of tricks and you start going through the bag of tricks and you start thinking of all the different ways that you can get that thought out of your head, right? And you can sort of, you never get past that phase of I'm in some trouble. To get to that is a process. If you are in recovery, you must go through phase 1 and you must go through phase 2 in order to get to phase 3. And people like to argue this one. They'll say, no, you know what? I snapped and I just went. In my humble opinion, when you're rock solid in your addiction, that doesn't happen. And which is dangerous for me because I'm hardly ever rock solid in my addiction. Truthfully, I spend a lot of time going in and out of phase 1 and back to 0 in relapse. I wish that I spent all my time at ground zero and that I was not ever at any phase of relapse, but I do spend a lot of time struggling with phase 1 and phase 2. I've been blessed that in 8 years and 8 days, something like that, 8 years, 8 days, I have not taken it to phase 3. If I did, it wouldn't be any different than taking it to phase 1 or 2. Honestly, it isn't. As long as you get up, you dust yourself off, and you start again. It's easy to get hung up on the number, because if you say to somebody, "Hey, I don't do dope anymore. I'm sober." It's the first question they ask you. How long? I know that I'd always shoot, barbecue, and drink on the 4th. Well, I'm glad that you got through it, Ian. I'm really glad that you got through it. And that right there, that's ritual. And we, all of us who are addicts, have spent a good deal of our life in that ritual segment of what we do. A lack of fireworks last night. There were a lot of fireworks here. Ultra Maggot says, you would literally have to hold me down and pour alcohol down my throat to get me to relapse. I believe you. I believe you. And that's where I am with dope. So when I say that I spent a good chunk of my 8 years in phase 1 or phase 2, right? But that I never got to phase 3, because you would have to hold me down and you would have to force a needle in my arm. I'm absolutely that person. I'm so terrified of the physical part of the relapse, the actual phase 3, that when I start finding, I'm the term, the canary in the coal mine, right? This is going to sound silly as crap. If you've been on the boat long enough, you've heard this silly crap before, but it's still probably going to sound silly to you. The kitty litter is like a bellwether for me, right? The kitty litter is the cat in the coal mine. If I'm making my bed, is the canary in the coal mine. If I'm not making my bed anymore, then I'm probably in a bad place. If I'm not cleaning squirrel's kitty litter once a day, then I'm probably in a bad place. These are small little things that I do because the old Tommy wouldn't do it. And if I start slacking on the small things, then I'm in deep shit on the big ones. I can't do it anymore. I absolutely could not do it. The guilt alone would make me want to drink so much more that I would probably not come out of it. You know what, Ultra Maggot? I believe that. And I'll tell you something else on top of that. Your addiction has been growing. Your addiction has been steadily growing the entire time that you've been gone. My addiction has been steadily growing the entire time that I have not been active. And saying that goes with Lemmy, that goes with Charles, that goes with Charlie, that goes with Seventh Son and Allison Stacy and anybody else on the boat. When you are not, aka Heather Joy as well, when you are not in active addiction, right? I'm kind of a visual dude, so I put together these stupid things in my head but I literally picture my addiction, right, in my dome, somewhere in the back recesses of my mind, put away from everybody else, and he's just in there, right, door shut, doing push-ups, just straight convict style. He's locked in a room. All he can do is get bigger and stronger. Snot face. Good morning. Good to see you. Doing the damn dishes. Hate it, even sober. I'm not a big dish guy myself, man. But it's one of those things that if I stay on top of, I don't hate them. So if I use anything now, it instantly goes into the dishwasher. I will never put anything in the sink, because for me, I won't finish it. If I that kind of stuff, if I don't stay on top of stuff, I'm absolutely going to lose. Just one of those things I absolutely must stay on top of. But I do hate it. Make no mistake, I hate them. So last night here on the boat, there's fireworks all over the place. Any hoot. Before I went to bed, I journaled. And I wrote a bunch. And then I got up this morning and I journaled a bunch. And I got up about an hour before I needed to. So normally I'm up at 4. I was probably up at about 3:30. And I started journaling, and it just, I made up for about 7 days of journaling all at once. And I don't mean in volume, but I mean in what came out. And right before the lifeboat went live, I was going and getting my coffee. And like I said, I had been up a really long time. I hope you did too, Snotface. Hope you had a great Independence Day. And I hope you thanked your husband for his service. So I walked outside this morning. Like I said, this time of the day is beautiful. The heat hasn't started yet at all. Agreed, Annette. She says weekends are the worst for lacking on that domestic stuff. So I walked outside and I was overlooking the city, and it's still now it's light out, but it was dark at the time, and I was looking at the lights, and I got that moment of Zen Tommy, where everything just felt exactly like it was supposed to. And I don't mean the surroundings and all of that, because I liked those 5 minutes after I got here. I really did. I love where the house is. I love how it sits. I love everything. I really do. I love everything about this move. But I didn't have any peace. I didn't have that same peace that I had. It was like a war zone in my neighborhood last night. I love it though. I've always loved fireworks. Yeah, last night they were 365 degrees around the house. I swear to you, there was not one part of my skyline that was not lit up. And I think the vast majority of them, in fact, I know the vast majority of them are people who bought their own fireworks. But you know, the fireworks that people buy now, it's not like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was like, I feel like there were bottle rockets and there were small little, the stuff that these people light up now looks like the professional stuff that I looked at when I was a kid. Stuff that goes way up in the sky, makes really, really loud noise. But it was 365 or 360 rather degrees around the house. I didn't watch much of it. I went in and did booms are like thunder to me, cleansing. Yeah, I think there's something to that. I went in and I just journaled, and then reading the journal. Really, I'm telling you, people, I can't spend enough time stressing this. The more that you spend with a pen in your hand, right, or a pencil in your hand, the more time you spend. Squirrel doesn't mind, Tim. Squirrel doesn't mind fireworks. She seems kind of fascinated by the booms. She doesn't really M80s. Yeah, M80s were fun. The big dynamite sounding ones. But yeah, she's Squirrel's pretty good about the noise, and she likes to look at colors of any kind. So Vancouver, Washington sounds like a war zone. And DeVoe says. You're in Vancouver, Washington. Okay. I know where you are. Balake says, good morning, Alice and Stacy. So it's funny not ha-ha, but funny just. So I come on here and I talk about relapse, and I come on here and I talk about all of these things. It is so easy to spend 2 hours a day on the lifeboat talking about things that are important to my sobriety and then not doing it at the exact same time. That's freaking bizarre. We used to have bottle rocket wars. Stupid, but back then it was fun. I remember having bottle rocket wars too. Or Roman candles were great too. Because that's just like a stick with bombs firing out the end of it. Like that thing was just fantastic. V says, yeah, I'm in Western Washington. It was horrible. Good morning, Tim. Yeah, I was talking to everybody on the boat the other day and was talking about how I was going back through all of the 4th of Julys in my head, all of the ones that stuck out to me and all the ones that I could remember. But I remember a vicious 4th of July in Utah, where a bunch of guys got together and went to a soccer field, a pitch, I think, as my friends on the other side of the pond would say. Thank you, Annette. That's a great comment. That really is a great comment. Everybody catch that? Journaling helps. Wow, I want that blow up. There we go. Journaling helps to relieve the insanity going on in the headspace. Make space for more stuff to go through. Um, it really does do absolutely remarkable things for your head. It really does. And this has been an epiphany, which is funny, right? Because how long have I been doing this? Heather Joy, by the way, I can't find our countdown. I can't find any of our stuff. So you might have to teach me something, Heather. I'm sorry, but when I go in the back, I can't find the countdown or anything else. Goddess Divine says, "How is your mom, Heather?" It's her mom's husband, I believe. I believe it's mom's husband. It actually rained here yesterday, says Monk with a wild expression look on his face afterwards. I'm a little surprised about that too. I didn't think it rained anywhere anymore. It is hot. Hi, everyone. Sorry I am being so quiet. I'm just not doing good at all today. Know that I love you all so very deeply. Sending love to everyone in prayers, light, and hugs. Can we get some prayers for Quiet Girl, please? Sending some prayers to Pennsylvania, to Quiet Girl. John Doe says, "Oddly, I used to love fireworks." I'm a fan of fireworks. I'm not a fan of everything that goes along with it. I've learned so much about how I've changed over the years. You mean through journaling? Absolutely, Annette. Annette says, "I learned so much about how I have changed over the years and how far I've come in my journey." Absolutely. And you know what? I'm so glad you said that. When you feel like you're not getting enough done. Hold on one second. I got shot last year's 4th and it hurt more at 56 than it did at 11. You're continuing to get shot with bottle rockets. What are you doing that you're continuing to get shot with bottle rockets, you madman? The journaling. I'm sorry, not doing so good. Not doing good. Tim, you're good, man. Don't worry about it. So my question is, to anybody out there that's feeling like things aren't going well, here's my question, just cut and dry. How much time have you spent recently with a pen on pieces of paper? Have you done any journaling? Have you recorded anything? You don't have to do it. If you're a person, I get things all the time from people that say, "I can't write." Turn your camera on. Turn on your cell phone. Well, I don't like how I look on camera. Well, then don't look at it, right? It doesn't really matter one way or the other. Tradition to indulge in a little LSD on the 4th and go watch two neighbors have a firework battle. It's better than any stadium fireworks. Best I've ever seen, especially enhanced. You're a madman, Buddha. I've done a decent amount of tripping on that holiday, though. Oh, no, you meant for Quiet Girl? Okay. Yeah, well, I would like continued prayers for Quiet Girl. Yes, thank you, Tim. Look, I understand now. Again, I recorded Beethoven symphonies on CD. Nice. Again, the delay does make things tough on all parties involved, and since I'm not the brightest bulb anyway, it becomes a bit of an issue. But continued prayers, please, for Quiet Girl. I find the journaling phenomenon fascinating and really feeling at peace. And I'll tell you something, physically, I'm having some issues. I'm not feeling particularly healthy this morning, but inside my headspace, I probably am doing better than I've done in a month. And it should have been that fast, right? I mean, everything's going groovy. I should have the second I got the letter from the judge that said that I'm no longer, I have no responsibilities. My debt to society is paid. That should have been like the breaking open of the gates of just peace at a level that I've never felt before. And I was chalking it up to success, right? I've said before that, for some addicts and for people like me, success is just as difficult as failure, if not worse, because we're just not good at it. Everyone have a wonderful day. You need to get going and get the day started. All right, Guy, take care of yourself and please be safe. Please be safe. So Tim says, I heard that. It is a difficult thing coping with success. As much as it is a difficult thing, thank you, Buddha. It's such a difficult thing to cope with success or failure. Either way, it's really, really hard. But I used to journal. Now I try to write my biography. There you go, Alice and Stacy. I like it. I'm to the point now where if I'm going to find truth in my life, I have a couple of people that I communicate with on a regular basis. Right? Very few people that I communicate with. I don't mean like this. I mean talking. There are very few people that I communicate with on a regular basis. And those people will very often help take my head in one direction or another as I think and as I process things. But if I'm going to discover anything about myself, I'm going to discover it by myself. And the only person that's going to be, nice. Well, the chair does make noise, which becomes a celebration, and freedom says, yeah, yep. Just a little bit. It's been, if I'm going to find honesty in my life, I'm going to find it journaling. And all of the journaling that I did last night, my head gets pretty crazy still. It's like I have many streams coming into my head at once. I have to stop the wheel somewhere and start there. I struggle with this. And again, the cure for me, Annette, is always the pen. What Annette's talking about is sometimes literally while you're journaling and writing something down, there's something else on a completely different thread, sort of trying to come through at the same time. At least maybe at least that's what I'm reading, because it happens to me, and it happens to me sometimes often, where I feel like there's competing thoughts for the page. But I also don't journal in the same place every time. So I have multiple places that I journal. One of them is just for ideas. And if you've never done this, I would recommend it. It really is. It's a fascinating thing, even if you're not trying to take over the world or like Stewie Griffin, world domination. Even if that's not the goal, but no matter what it is you're doing. Well, that was very nice of you, Buddha. Buddha just said hello to everybody involved. Buddha, great to see you, man. Hope you had a good 4th. Okay. The journaling concept is hard for me for some reason. It reminds me of writing to my dad when he passed away when I was 9. I didn't find it helpful then either. You know what, Snotface? I don't know that at 9, and I don't know. I'm not saying this. I'm literally saying I don't know. I don't know about those kind of things at the age of 9. I don't know that I can imagine trying to do any of that at the age of 9. I understand I've got 6 journals on the go at all times. That makes sense to me, believe it or not. My cat is plotting world domination, and we need to keep your cat away from squirrel. So, Snotface, if journaling is a concept at all, then I can see why. Let me rephrase that. Journaling shouldn't be a concept, right? The journaling concept. Forget journaling as a concept. Forget it as a thought. Open up and bleed out. It doesn't have to be on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be, it just has to be your thoughts being released from your body. Journaling sounds like an assignment that you do at school. You sit down, you take a pen, and now I need you to write for 15 minutes. Tell me the first 3 things that, nothing like that. It's sitting down in the morning, right? After going to sleep, because when we lay down and we go to sleep and our brain goes through the different levels of sleep, and it gets to that beautiful dream state, right? With rapid eye movement and all of the fun stuff that starts to happen, and you begin to dream, right? And when the sleep day ends and the conscious day begins, it's not like your brain goes, okay, I'm done dreaming. Everybody good? We're good. That's a wrap, right? Cut. And then you wake up. More often than not, you wake up in the middle of a dream sequence, and you didn't finish what your brain was trying to do. While you're asleep, your brain should be going through all of the files that make no sense and trying to put them all together, right? Your subconscious tries to make sense of things that you can't make sense of on your own, which is why we have those bizarre dreams that never seem to make any sense. My first grade teacher was there, except she was a dope dealer. And I was in prison, except the prison was actually where I went to elementary school. Like these things that never make any sense. That's why I was told to start journaling. It was basically me writing to him, but I never found it helpful. You never found it helpful because when people tell you what to do, it really is not a great thing. For me, this room is much more clear to open up. It helped me stay sober, and that works. This very well may be your journaling. You understand? You got to stop thinking of journaling as a concept of an assignment. And Snotface, they were telling you why I was told to start, why I was told to, especially at that young age. Here's what I'm saying. You got to get the thoughts that, so you wake up in the morning and all that crap was still going on, right? So what do? You get up and you go to work. While you're doing that, this is your conscious. Just below, your subconscious is doing this thing all day long. And you go, you know what? I don't know what it was. Something was just off today. Of course it was. Half of your brain is doing this one behind your back. You want all of that turned off. So you get up in the morning and you just, bleh, right? I could do it sitting in front of this microphone talking. I could do it speaking into my phone, right? A little recording device. I can do it walking around in the backyard in circles, mumbling to myself. I like writing it down. For me, that's an important thing because I can then go back and read it. I like the idea of a video so that you can then go back and watch it or listen to it. The ability to do recall is what happens is the journal now becomes the instructor, right? Your journal now becomes your teacher. And the words that you put into this journal, as you read them back out, you go, oh my God, like me today, reading all of the stuff from back before I left Nevada, where I was not in a great headspace. I certainly was not in my Zen spirit of things. Writing helps you see thoughts clearly. Just as important because the mind is really a battlefield. Life is a battlefield. And on top, and I agree with that. The other thing is, yeah, I do too, Snotface. It's a great group of people. Well, and you know what? I love that people want to come here and use this as a form of journaling. I think it's a great idea. I also think that, and you can crap on any idea that I have, people. See, for instance, John Doe says, my dog is like a journal. I get it. And AKA Heather Joy says, I think my journals are my best friends. And I completely understand that because you can tell your journal things that you're never going to tell anybody else. Right? Your journal is not going to judge you. It will allow you to judge the crap out of yourself, but that's not always a bad thing. In fact, sometimes that's a fantastic thing. Even when I come and I talk to all of you and you guys send me emails and I send text messages and we do all of those things, then I take my notes. I go and I grab a notebook and I start to journal. And I'm just letting out the emotions that I feel when I talk to people. I'm working through my things the same way everybody is working through their things. And my counselor is paper and pen. And that works for me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody. I will tell you this, though. I've never met anybody that journaled for a couple of weeks, long enough to pick up the habit, and then say that they wish they didn't. I was even gifted a beautiful leather-bound journal. Got like 3 pages of autobiography written. My thoughts or worries just don't hit the page. Maybe I'm just bad at it. Ian, forget trying to be good at it. Hey, good to see you, Scoob. Forget trying to be good at it, or forget trying to be bad at it. And I know it sounds like I'm doing the new age psychobabble BS, but I'm not. What you need to do is just bleed. You need to just let it all come out of your dome and go out onto the page. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be articulate. It doesn't even need to be coherent. For instance, there are times like I keep a journal right by the bed. And there are times that I wake up in the morning and I write down things that if you were to read the sentence would make 0 sense to anybody. Maybe I should read my mom's journal, 1963. John Doe, I wouldn't. That's just me. I would be scared to hell to read anybody's journal. Another only $20. At least I'm saving something for us to get to bed. I got 25 at the moment. Scoob, it's amazing how things can pile up when you begin to save anything. It really is. And it's a great lesson. I gave my son my journal that I kept after leaving my domestic violence situation while pregnant with my son. I gave it to him for Christmas so he would know everything about my life during that time. As long as people talk about something like that, like if I were to leave my when I pass away, I don't want my journals read by my kids. I don't. That's a personal thing. And it's a personal decision. For me, my journals are definitely not autobiographical. My Ladybug says I wouldn't give my journal to anyone, too private. See, that's me. Because when I said it doesn't need to be articulate, it doesn't need to be beautiful, it doesn't even need to make sense. My journal might just be the word hate 16 times in a row, right? Then 3 or 4 words that the average person wouldn't, would never sync up with the word hate. If I'm in a bad place, like I literally just bleed onto the paper. You understand? The things that come out, they don't necessarily make any sense at all. They're not supposed to. To me, in my setup, it's not important that they make sense. It's important that they get out of my head. Right? For me. But it's also good to see your parents as humans. Absolutely, Allison. I agree. And here's the thing. It might not be a journal. It might be a diary. And people go, what's the difference? Man, there's a huge freaking difference between a journal and a diary. Right? Dear diary, you're not going to believe what happened today. Right? That's a diary. 16 words that had never, ever even thought of being paired with one another would end up in a journal, right? Shouldn't end up in a diary. A diary is very, diaries are almost always thought of as describing the events of your life, right? That's not what a journal is, at least not for me. My son deserved to know more about me, about how much I love him. I think it's a beautiful thing, Quiet Girl. I think it's a beautiful thing. My thoughts wouldn't make sense if anyone tried to read them to me anyway. They really wouldn't. And I wouldn't want them to go to my especially, I've been journaling now for a really long time, and 8 or 10 years of my journals were written in prison. I don't need my kids reading that, but I think it would be great if I wish that was possible. And I think it's beautiful that you were able to do that, Quiet Girl. Look at what happened with Joe Biden's daughter's journal. Oops. Bye, Buddha. You have a good day, my brother. Buddha's got to be almost to 80. As slow as that torturous facility is. No, I'm definitely not saying it's bad. I think it's beautiful. I wish you know what? If somebody could edit mine, because there is definitely a part of my journals that are biographical, sort of. Hit that like button, peeps, says Buddha Davis. And Buddha's a smart man. You should listen to him. Ladybug says, Scooby, whatever works. Just get it out of your mind and onto some other format. And that's really all I'm saying, Ladybug. Well done. That's really all I'm saying. When I find repetition in my writing, I know I need to stop and look at that. Boom. 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 My brother Johnny says this all the time. He said, man, when I've written something 3 times, I know I need to take a real good hard look at what's going on. Repetition. Yeah, repetition is huge. Balake says, what Buddha says, I agree. Hit the thumbs up, people. That would be really nice. It's, it is, let's see, 5:50. It is 5:50 a.m. Broadcasting from the Southwest studios of the Lifeboat. I am your captain, Tommy Scoville. What's the name of the fake radio show on Family Guy? Something in the butt. Someone and weenie in the butt. You know what? I shouldn't have even gone down this road. What's the name of the radio deal on there? I say what is on my mind here, and it helps me release any negative thoughts, but in a healthy way. I love that, V. I really do. I love that. I got me one of those fancy leather things, and it looks like a chicken has lost a worm in it. I'm still decoding it. It looks like a chicken has lost a worm in it. I love dealing with myself sober. Good for you, Annette. What a beautiful, beautiful comment. Isn't that great? I love dealing with myself sober. My dog's journal is roughly written, but I'm bumped. I think I might start working on my car. Be careful, Scoob. Well, you know what, Scoob, I think that would make you happy too. Ian DeBow says, so definitely private, but I'm sure most people who journal could have an autobiography written after all the random thoughts are removed. I agree. And, I was trying to get to saying something similar to that. Do I remember WKRP in Cincinnati? Of course I remember WKRP in Cincinnati. That was a great show. For anybody out here really young, it was what was his name? Les. Oh, man. Yes, I remember the show. WKRP in Cincinnati. Good morning, everyone. I'm late. Well, we're going to let that slide, Valerie, because it's so great to have you here. It really is. Your presence on the lifeboat this early in the morning is greatly appreciated. Truthfully, it is. Thank you to everybody that leaves comments here on the boat. Thank you to everybody that passes the name of the channel around. We're growing at a really good clip right now. It's a great feeling. It is a healthy, sustained growth, which is the most that you can hope for when you're doing this YouTube thing. Even if you're doing a YouTube channel that is normal, we are most assuredly not. Les Lessman, yes. Quiet girl, Les Lessman, yeah. Scoob, you've always wanted to learn. Fact number 1, you have always wanted to learn. Fact 2, someone wants to teach me, and I just keep thinking I shouldn't. Forget all of the rest of it, right? Anything after fact number 2, forget it. I've always wanted to learn. Finally, there's someone that wants to teach me. Handle that. Go learn. Go be in the moment. Be happy. Love it. Have a good time. Learn everything you can. Take notes. I have always wanted to learn. Finally, somebody wants to teach me. You're done. Don't say anything after that. Don't keep going. Less, man. Very funny. You know what's bumming me out is I normally could have done that whole song. WKRP in Cincinnati, and currently right now I just feel like I'm not all there. That's a great comment, Scoob. Smarter, stronger, and just overall it would help my mental health. Then you have no reason whatsoever to not do it, Scoob. No reason not to. You got this. Well, thank you, Heather Joy. She says, I've told so many people about the boat over the last week. Scooby just needs a mystery machine and some tools. Scooby does need a mystery machine. I had a friend in college. If my brother Johnny were here right now, he would remember this. But don't tear yourself down before you allow the building. I like it. Snotface says, go learn some stuff, Scoob. Do it, Scoob, just for you, says Annette. Scoob, there's a lot of people here who support you. There are a lot of people here who support you and think it is a great idea that you go out and do this. I think it is too. There's no reason to do anything but if I keep the Subaru, I was always saying I'd make it the Scoobaroo. Well, if we had a Volvo, we could still turn it into the Scoobaroo, right? It's the Scoob Mobile, no matter how you look at it. It's the mystery machine. It is the mystery machine. It is Scooby-Doo's vehicle, people. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, Scoob, says John Doe. You're halfway home. There you go. I will check out Johnny's morning video. I promise. I'm hoping it's a good one. I am hoping it is a good one. Do not sow. Do not sow, says Tim. There's 3 words you don't see. Scoob, so does my friends got this. Do not sow. Do not sow. Sounds like the start of a kata. No idea what I'm talking about. All right, peeps. You know what this means, don't you? This means that we have been here an hour. Always a good time. I think. Therefore, I am. All right, peeps. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. I will see you all on the deck of the boat. You know what? Your journaling doesn't have to be fancy. Your journaling doesn't have to be anything other than the fact that you're getting stuff out of your dome. That you're getting stuff out of your dome. I love this crew. I love this boat. I really do. I love this boat. Annette says, Scoob, if you don't do it, you'll never know, and you may regret it later. I will guarantee it. If you don't do it, you will regret it later. I know this is something you're passionate about. You need to do this. This is very, very good for you, Scoob. Very good for you. And you need to do it. I promise you will absolutely thank yourself later. All right, peeps. See you on the deck of the lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. This. Hey, what do you say? That's a cat in a basket. An Arizona pussycat in a basket. A transplanted Arizona pussycat in a basket. She's a good girl. See you around, everybody. Have a great and blessed day. I'm Tommy Scoville. What do you say?